Sunday night for those people that want to watch us on YouTube, and that's what we do. So once we get this thing going, then we're all set, good to go. It's just queuing up right now, loading up, and we should be good there. And it looks like all systems go on YouTube as well. All right, so there's a questions box. You'll find a little icon on your Zoom dashboard. Click on that. I am the only one that sees that, so go ahead and say whatever you want. Certainly look to address any questions or comments you may have. Okay, and yeah, it's gonna be an exciting night. So rushed home to get the PowerPoint done. Lots of fun. We have lots of fun here, folks. Never miss a day. That's the idea here. Always got to be consistent. Make sure your Sunday night sessions are there, right? Because a lot of people rely on this. They want to know what's going on, and you want to see us in action. Anyway, my name is Hugh, folks, and there's my beautiful dog Lucy. Miss her terribly. She'd been put down a couple months ago, several months now. 12-and-a-half-year-old Bernese Mountain Dog. Still lives in our hearts forever. Anyway, unless you own a dog, you'll never understand what I just said. Okay. They are part of the family. They're very much a part of the family, and I think you know that. Okay. Yes. Okay. Wow, I see the comments already rolling in. Thank you very much. I like this one here. And we'll address this one a little bit later on here. Brian B here. Hi, you. I just started 3 weeks ago with DayTradeSPY, and I'm super happy with the trades. Question, not sure we can do this, but do you ever place stop losses or trailing stops with your SPY calls or puts? So I'll take a look at that in a little bit here, Brian. I sometimes use trailing stops. If I see a real trend going, I'll use a trailing stop. Well, I'll get into the questions a little bit later on. So not a problem here. So. Okay, Bryce. Yeah, I understand 100% the loss. Oh, it was devastating. Okay, so she was okay. Normally, this breed lives 6 to 8 years of age, but we got 12-and-a-half years out of her. So we definitely got a lot more time than I guess we were entitled to, supposedly, I suppose. And anyway, we took very good care of her. We actually cooked especially just for her. Oh, she ate people food. She if I gave her dog food, she would look at me like, "What are you giving me this garbage for? What do you think I am, like a dog or something?" She had that look about her. Okay, Luce, I'll cook up some pork chops here. I got some pork chops for you, no problem. Mashed potatoes, you got it all. Oh yeah, we cooked especially for her, which is probably why she lived as long as she has. So, but she was she's kind of a funny dog. She would do some comical things from time to time. But anyway, you're not here for that. Um, but maybe one day we'll have a session where we just kind of talk about our dogs. I don't know. So our Sunday night sessions are not meant to be like, you're going to learn how to make $1 million in 2 weeks. That's not going to happen. All right. And if anybody ever tells you, oh, come to this webinar, that's what you're going to learn, they're lying to you. That's not at all. We're just kind of a laid back Sunday night session, kind of almost a social thing. We talk about a lot of different things and just kind of, goof around a little bit and have some fun and, get your opinions. I like to see some interaction with people and answer some questions and talk about our programs and how we can make you very wealthy, hopefully. And we don't have to do this. People ask me all the time, how come you're doing this anyway? I mean, if you're good at trading, then why would you bother trading? And that's a legitimate question. I say to them, yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't have to. But the short answer is don't ask why, just be thankful that we do. Hmm. But the long answer is that number one, we enjoy it. All right. We thoroughly enjoy my associate John Johnson. He's a excuse me, he's a veteran alumni Eagle financial products guru himself. And he retired from what he was doing, I guess, doing a newsletter, whatever he was doing, and he joined our trading room. He hadn't been retired for very long, I think, maybe a month or two. And they said, I got to get back into this. So he joined our trading room, and we're having a blast. And so we have a lot of fun with this, all right? And we interact with people. People keep us sharp. Our participants keep us sharp. So by doing this and teaching people, it keeps us sharp for our own trades. But we really thoroughly enjoy seeing the results of people's trades and being able to give back and help out with, with some training. I know that I sure wish I had a Hugh back in the day when I learned this stuff. I had to learn with trial and error and just kind of muddle along and took very expensive courses way back when. But anyway, I'll talk about that a little bit later on. All right, I'm gonna let you give you a few seconds to read this disclaimer. Keeps us out of trouble with the lawyers, with the authorities. The authorities. Oh yes, the authorities. Okay, just go ahead and read all that, and I think you understand that you alone are responsible for all your own trading, and past performance does not guarantee future results. That is the one guarantee, is that there's no guarantees. There are no guarantees in this business. I think you know that. All right, listen, if you're new to options, put it up in the chat in the questions box. All right, let me know if you are new to options. Just curious, and I want to see where maybe we'll go with this. If we get a lot of people who are new to options, don't know anything about options, we might actually expand on that at some point down the road here. Let me see if I even have the that particular PowerPoint. I scrambled to get my PowerPoint on. We can talk a little bit about options if you are new. So tell me in the questions box if you are. Okay, everybody is no. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, we seem to cater to a crowd that already knows what options are, which is actually really important, I think. There I am, folks, live and living color. Beautiful day outside here in Western New York, sun shining. And this morning when I left Wilmington, North Carolina, we were just so my wife is coming back now. She's actually flying back right now, but she texted me said just after we took off, and our plane did want to leave real fast because there's a real heavy storm coming. I think she termed it monsoon. Um, she sent me a video. I don't think she was exaggerating. The rain was like really pounding, and I'm pretty confident that we probably wouldn't have taken off if we waited another 10 minutes. But um, anyway, it's all good. So made it back here and scrambled to get the PowerPoint. But anyway, to be discussed tonight, folks. Last week's review. We're going to look at the upcoming week. We're going to take a little bit of a poll, something I kind of like to do every Sunday night. Just get your thoughts on different topics and kind of have a little interaction here. I'd like to answer some of your questions, so feel free to put in the questions box. Again, I'm the only one that sees that. And we've got another contest here tonight. It's just a random number. Okay, we invoke our random number generator, our special day trade spy random number generator. And what we do is we just get everybody to put a number in the questions box, and the person closest to the number, they win the ebook, which is entitled Triumphs and Tragedies. Tonight's ebook is Triumphs and Tragedies. All right. So we have a lot of fun with this. Anyway, that's for you to stay to the end, right? And it's actually a pretty cool book. It's not one of those stupid, goofy books. You hit the button, oh, you're gonna get a free ebook, and there's like 8 pages and big type, and like you think, really, you could have put this on like 10 lines, you call it an ebook. No, no, no. I think this ebook's like 40 some pages long. It's actually pretty good. Um, and we also have another ebook that we give away sometimes. It's Tips, Tricks, and Traps. And I think that's like 50 pages or something. It's actually 50, maybe it's even longer than that. Anyway, tonight we're going to give away Triumphs and Tragedies. All right. So, what are we going to talk about here? Well, first of all, who am I? Why should you listen to me anyway? I've been around the block. I've been trading for a lot of years now, and most of what I learned, just about everything I learned, actually is from the trenches. That's the place to learn it, right? Um, and I come from corporate America background. And when I started making money on the market, people started asking me, "Well, what are you doing? You're obviously you're doing something really well. Did you win a lottery, Hugh?" I said, "No, no, no lottery, no lottery. Just trading SPY options." Well, you got to show us, and they course me, and I put up on the website, and full circle. I've been doing this now. Actually, you know what? Actually, today's the 11th. You know what? Yesterday was exactly 15 years that we've been doing Day Trade Spy. 15 years. So a couple of years ago, Eagle Financial Products took notice and they bought us out. Made us a deal, couldn't refuse. And what happened was they hired us back. They hired me back. And here I am, not going anywhere. I think my last breath is probably going to be taken while we are, doing a session. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, love what you do. You know, when you like what you do and do what you love, it's not work. If I'm going to be trading anyway, you might as well do it online and teach people, right? So I'm having a lot of fun with it. Anyway, discovered some pretty cool strategies that work very well for me. I'm not saying they're the be all and end all. Obviously, There's a million strategies out there, but this worked for me, and others noticed and they wanted me to teach them. That's what we did. So I look for short-term breakout trades. Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Short-term breakout trades, and I'm not looking to make a fortune. I'm looking for those home runs. But if I can get two or three or four or five singles during the day and make some pretty serious money, I'm pretty happy with that. All right. And all the big money I made in my younger days, younger days, listen to me, my earlier days of option trading, I did very well. And like my wife told me there several years ago, for my birthday dinner, she said, do you really have to trade, big bucks anymore? I mean, how much money do you need? I said, well, I'm just doing it for fun. I said, well, why risk? Just trade a little bit now, and just show people stuff. Okay, that's fine. Anyways, that's what we do. Folks, every Thursday we write a newsletter. It's actually written earlier, but it's delivered to your inbox every Thursday. Just a very light read, relevant. It's entertaining. It's irrelevant sometimes. Is that the word? Irreverent? Anyway, irreverent. I think that's the word too, sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes we have fun with it. And this week's topic is going to be day trading in the mental zone. Day trading in the mental zone. Okay, this is actually mind game. In fact, I wrote a little the last weekend's session or last week's newsletter was along the lines of exercising patience. I gave an example of my father taught me a lot of patience. Of course, I didn't realize that at the time, but he taught me how to play chess from an early age. And he drove me around the bend because every time it was his move, he would wait, I don't know, I want to say 5, 6, 7 minutes. I'm not kidding. You know what? You want to know what a long time is when you're playing chess? That. And 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 I don't know what he was looking at, but he won every time. He won. I could never win. He'd even take his queen off. He would play without a queen, and he would still slaughter me. But later in life, I realized this was a strategy. He would outpatient me, if that's a word. He would outlast me in his patience. And then to drive me nuts further, he would whistle. Just until I lost my, what. But anyway, it wasn't until later on when I realized what he was really doing. I thought, you got a point here. Because if you can outlast your opponent with patience, you're gonna win. And he won every time. As a matter of fact, I don't know anybody who could actually win against them. But anyway, that's what he taught me, and that's the topic in last week's newsletter. And if you missed it, you can always go to our website, which is daytradespy.com, and it's up on the top left corner. Let me just see if I can find it for you. You can actually access all of these old newsletters. All right, all these old newsletters. Okay, where's it here? That's it over here. There we go. And cookies. Okay, up in here where it says Spy on the Market, that is the name of the newsletter up in the top left, Spy on the Market. You click on that, you can access all the old newsletters. Now, if you want us to subscribe, what you got to do is simply leave us your email address right here when the pop-up comes up, and that will get you the newsletter delivered to your inbox every Thursday morning. Okay. Or if you don't want to do that, just go up here to the newsletters, and there it is here. Trading is a mental game. And for sure. So anyway, enough of that. All right. So day trading is in the mental zone. That's going to be this week's topic. Folks, just a reminder too, we are going next month, June. It's coming up fast, actually. In about a month's time, we're going to be in Palm Springs, California, the Oasis of Liberty Freedom Fest 2025. This is the ultimate Liberty community experience, packaged as an annual summer event hosting 30,000 plus attendees since 2007. One of the gurus, it's with Eagle Financial Products. I believe he is instrumental in hosting this an exciting event. And so I'm going to be doing, well, John and I, my associate John and I, were actually scheduled for three separate talks at this event. But on Friday, June the 13th, John and I are going to be hosting a paid live trading breakfast. All right, so you can actually join us. It's not much money. I don't know what it is. I don't even know. I don't have the details. As soon as I get the details on this, I will let you know. But it's going to be a live event where we're going to be in front of a crowd. We're going to be day trading options on SPY, and I think it's pretty obvious that because of the time zone, I don't think this event I don't think Freedom Fest is going to be open at 5 in the morning, 5 or 6 in the morning. So I suspect we're going to be doing some trading. It's going to be probably 11 or 12 o'clock Eastern time on the eastern side. But we're going to be there doing this live breakfast, trading breakfast. Folks, I encourage you to join in on this. And if you want some more information, I think customer service at daytradespy.com has the details. And I will get this for you for next week for sure. But if you want more information on this right now, email them and they will let you know. Now, June the 11th to the 14th, we are going to be Palm Springs, California. Again, Freedom Fest at the Oasis of Liberty. And hope to see you there. All right, let's see if we can do this here. I like the way the screens kind of come in like that. There we go. All right, let's take a look and see what we're doing here. A look at last week's trades and the market. And admittedly, I wasn't involved in the whole week. I think I left Wednesday. I think Wednesday was it, and I flew down south on was it Wednesday? I think it was Thursday. Can't remember. Time just flees by and just fleets by. You can't even everything just melts together. But anyway, this to look at last week's trading. Of course, is up and down like a roller coaster. And here's what happened. SPY ended its longest winning streak on Monday after 9 days. Longest winning streak that is since 2004, amid renewed global trade uncertainty and growing anxiety over tariffs. Even with the initial downstroke, though, SPY did rise on stronger than forecast PMI numbers. On Tuesday, it was a low no news day. SPY bounced around on technicals, right? Strong support resistance levels, and plans for the U.S.-China trade talks. The U.S. Authorities would say, "Oh yeah, we're in talks," and China said, "Never heard of you." But I understand they've gone to a neutral place, and I'm not really sure somewhere in Europe, and they're talking, and that's good. But there's nervousness over the Fed decision. This also kept SPY at bay on Tuesday. That's what kept SPY down. And then Wednesday came. That's when we had the Fed decision, the Fed announcement over over the interest rates. So it wasn't just the announcement of the Fed interest rate, which they kept the same. What's that, 4.25 to 4.5%, somewhere in there, as we all thought. A lot of, most people thought that was going to be. But what you get here is the speak after it, right? What the feds talk about and how they anticipate where they're going to go from here and what they're looking to do and that. And that's kind of what drives the markets. Fed Chair Powell's speech afterwards, right? And the decision and, of course, the subsequent speech. So um, SPY did rise on Thursday. Economic news is overshadowed by the Trump announcement of a trade deal with UK. United Kingdom. It's positive for SPY. My markets ran right up to a high of 570.31. Haven't seen that in a while. Elsewhere, tariffs were of concern in the European Union and also again with China as talks continue. Now, Trump did say that watch for some really, um, aggressive moves to the upside with the market once they get some deals going here with China. It's Trump's MO. That's the way he works things. He comes on strong, shakes the tree, gets everybody to the table, and they all have to sit down and talk because he carries a big stick with him. He's gonna wield the big stick. So everybody sits there and talks to him. Now, last I heard, there's like 90 countries talking to the U.S. on this. I'm not really sure. Anyway, on Friday, the S&P edged down a little bit here, about 0.07%, as investors looked ahead for key trade talks between the U.S. and China. Ending the session, little changed. Okay, at the end of the day, Friday was just kind of hanging in there. And I understand. Last I checked, the futures were up quite a bit here, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. I anticipate markets will rise over the next little while. We're pretty well at the end of earnings season. I'm not aware of too many earnings coming. I should probably take a look at that real quick. Let me take a look here and see of any major earnings coming out in the next few days that might influence the market, but it's more the tariffs that is going to influence markets right now rather than earnings. Normally on earnings season, you get some really good earnings. On Monday, we've got Fox Corporation reporting. Tuesday, Oh, yeah, nothing major. I'm looking for the big names that are going to perhaps move markets, something that we all know and love. Cisco on Wednesday. Again, it's kind of we're winding down on earnings. Thursday, we've got some retailers, Walmart, Deere and Company, Applied Materials. Those are sort of the big names on Thursday this week. On Friday, who do we have? Not too much that's going to move the markets for us on Friday. So basically, some retail on Thursday is going to be the big one. Anyway, all right. So here's a look at the seasonals. So for those not familiar with the seasonal charts, that blue line at the top, that's the current SPY price. So we only trade SPY, SPY. That is the stock that follows the S&P 500, right? Essentially, I have to know is where the economy is going, and you can match it up with the stock market. So you don't have to look at all these different companies and sectors and and analyze countless company company forecasts and different things. I don't even know what you analyze for. The market has a different view of what some of the economic fallout is from different things. I mean, a company can have great earnings and their stock goes to the tank because it depends on what the C class people say on the conference call. Depends on what the future outlook is. I noticed this term here when we had all these earnings. The earnings were generally very favorable, but the market was actually looking at the future, the forecasted earnings, because a lot of companies are saying we have no clue. We have no clue what our next quarter is going to be like because of the tariffs situation, right? So that is what moved the markets to the downside quite a bit this last few couple, several weeks. It's the future outlook that was of more concern than what the past was. Anyway, the blue line is where SPY is now. The red line is a composite of the last 5 years closing price, daily closing price. And we like to drill down here and focus in on seasonalities, just in case. I mean, it's nice to have seasonalities on this stuff because not always, but where SPY went the last 5 years on average, it's quite possible it's going to go again there this year as well. Of course, no guarantees again, but excuse me, historically, last week, SPY rose about 2 points. And going into the next 2 weeks, sorry, the next 1 week, SPY dropped a couple of points the following week. So it's generally between in these 2 weeks here, we're right in the middle of generally flat. So we're going to see if the market pulls back a little bit. And from a seasonal standpoint, generally I would say it's pretty flat. It's going to be a pretty flat kind of a thing here. Okay, so anyway, let's take a look here. Last week we had stocks. They posted gains after trade tensions eased. Deals reached with the UK. Talks are being held with China. China. Okay. Um, it's governments that people don't, that are the problem. It's not the people. I know some Chinese people that are just very, very nice, the nicest people. Some of my best friends are Chinese, and this one couple in particular, they would give you the shirt off their back. No questions asked. I mean, just unbelievable. So it's governments that we have issues. Now imagine what the world would be like if we had no governments. What would happen if we had free trade? Free everything. Wouldn't it be unbelievable? If they can make things cheaper somewhere else, hey, knock yourself out. We'll buy it. We have technology, we have information. You don't have to be everything to everybody. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Uh, anyway, the Fed Reserve left rates unchanged, warned of higher inflation and unemployment. That, of course, doesn't sit well with traders. Services sector reading mixed, but remains in expansion mode. Stocks did listen to me, rebounded after labor market was proven to remain healthy. And again, companies are reporting better than expected earnings, so that's in large part a good sign. Okay, large and mid caps appear to benefit the most from a healthy labor market, less exposure to tariffs, or at least they can weather the storms, the short-term storms. Here's a chart of the PMI services, trending a little bit lower, but still remains in expansion mode here. So things are easing off a little bit. This shows the path of the S&P and the Institute for Service Management PMI services since 2023. We're still in expansion mode, but not by a lot. So we're not moving up very quickly here. Last week's stats, S&P dropped 0.5%. Year to date, from January, we're down 3.8%. And the Dow and the Nasdaq followed suit. Nasdaq is still the big loser there, minus 7.2% year to date. And that, of course, makes total sense, right? Because the Nasdaq represents most of the tech stocks. All the big tech names are there, and they're the ones that are overvalued. So the first market to go, the first stocks to get for traders to investors to pull out of is the techs, and they're the ones that are overvalued. So that makes total sense. The Dow, you'll see year to date, they're down 3%, but we'll see what happens next week. All right. I'm going to take a little bit of a break here and give you a poll, folks. So put in the questions box how you feel about the Ukraine war now in its third year, folks. Should the U.S. continue support of this thing, or should we just cut our losses, get out of it? I'm not sure where. Admittedly, I haven't been on top of the news the last several days because I was away and I was very busy with things. So I don't know where it is now. For all I know, they could have a peace agreement, but I don't think so. Because last I saw, Russia was still bombing Ukraine like there's no tomorrow. So I don't know. Put in the questions box how you feel. Should we continue funding the support of Ukraine here to go through to the end, to the bitter end, or should we cut our losses? Or hey, maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know. So, okay. Yes, support it. No cut losses and get out. Yes, get out. Wow, mixed feelings here. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, don't know. Okay, no more money. Yes, tomorrow support. Support, yes. Get out. Let Europe deal with it. Makes you wonder. That's a good question. That makes you wonder. We're so removed from this thing, and I'm sure there's something in it for us, rare earth or something that's going to be rare minerals or something that's going to be there that Trump is going to use for leverage to bail him out and get rid of the thing. I think he's supposed to make a deal here. Wasn't he going to make a deal and end that war the first day? Let's see, who should help them? No, get out, get out. No, still continue. Wow. If Russia does not come to the table, we should pull back. Europe should cover the costs more. So, Brian, what do you think, though? I mean, so Europe gets involved. We got NATO. Everybody's getting involved in this thing. Where does this thing stop? I really kind of wish Putin would just say, "Okay, we've had enough. Let's figure something out." I don't know they got to come up with something here. Continue support because the worldwide consequences cannot afford to lose our status to Russia. That is true too. Oh yeah, that's the thing. When you sit back idly, right? Before you know it, you're toast. You have to protect yourself, and you do that by protecting others, insulating yourself here, which is one reason Trump wants to really get involved in protecting northern Canada. Right now, it's just a little bit too vulnerable for Russia and China to kind of step in. Let's see, I wouldn't send my son over to die there, so I'm out. Yes. Get out ASAP. End it. No. Stop now. There's another one here. Stay there as long as it takes. Trump asked Putin to end the war. Yes, get out. Yes, no more funding. Get the heck out of there. Okay, support, but only to the degree that other countries are. Yeah, I remember originally everybody put their sanctions there, right? Oh, we're gonna cut you off here, cut you off. That doesn't seem to be affecting Russia too much. I'm not sure how that works. Okay, here's a comment here. Hate to spend the nation's treasury, but rather do that than end sending troops. Ukraine is the largest country in Europe with a breadbasket of minerals and oil. Yeah. Deal was signed last week. Minerals deal. Minerals deal was signed last week. Okay. Well, I suspect they're going to have to end it at some point here, sooner rather than later. So it's funny because we got such a mixed bag, and Fox News did a poll recently, and they came within a couple points of each other as well. 45% for either, continue as long as it takes to win, and no, it's time to limit the time frame for support. I don't have the exact numbers here as to what the poll was for with Fox News, but obviously they had a much higher response rate than what I'm showing you here. But anyway, that's interesting, and we had several don't knows. So okay, good to know that. All right, let's go on here, folks. What's going to happen the week ahead here? On Monday, it's going to be a low, no news day. CPI, Consumer Price Index on Tuesday, and Wednesday is another low, no news day. And you're wondering, oh my gosh, it's going to be a quiet week. But boom, man, look at this Thursday. We have a lot of news coming out. Unemployment claims, Producer Price Index, PPI. Fed Chair Powell speaks. What is he going to be talking about? Let me take a look at that. That's actually a good thing to know. What is Fed Chair kind of speaking about on Thursday? Thursday. All right. Let me see. Usually when he speaks, that moves the markets. He's going to deliver opening remarks at the Second Thomas Lobach Research Conference in Washington, D.C. So whatever he says, markets are going to react to that. Retail sales numbers are going to be coming out. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, Empire State Manufacturing Index. A lot of news on Thursday, and then Friday is going to pare back a little bit. University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report. Also, the inflation expectations report on Friday as well. So as far as volatility, low Monday, medium Tuesday, low Wednesday, high on Thursday, back to medium on Friday. So we should be able to make some money here this week, especially later on in the week. All right. Also, whenever you see President Trump coming up on the agenda, expect elevated volatility. Okay, so I never really know until the day of when he's going to say, "Okay, I'm going to talk. I'm going to have a presentation. I'm going to get in front of the people." Uh, and one of the places I get my news is forexfactory.com. Forexfactory.com. It's a free news feed, and when Trump is scheduled for that, you can actually hear this right here. It will tell you, and this it's no secret. This is where I get it. So when he speaks, it's going to be listed on the agenda here. So whenever that happens, you'll see that overshadow everything else. Okay, you'll see that overshadow everything else. So you might want to keep that news feed in the back of your mind here and just check it for whenever there's going to be something. But of course, we talk about this in the trading room every morning, right? This is an integral part of what we do. We discuss what's coming up, and if Trump speaks, we are going to be very much in tune to what he's going to talk about. So, all right, our 2 minute tutorial might end up in about 5 minutes. Not really sure. It's going to be quite lengthy. Well, not quite lengthy. It's going to be more than a couple minutes probably because it's very exciting here. Um, I remember the story. It was actually quite interesting. It's the tale of two investors, and it's really a study about money behavior. I sometimes get the question, well, what's the difference between being rich and being wealthy? And I guess if you're rich, right, you buy your fancy cars and your Porsches and Mercedes and whatever, and you want to show people, that you're rich. You have this outward kind of, you want to demonstrate that you have money. And I noticed that at least myself, when I see a Porsche drive by, I don't necessarily look inside the car to see who's there, because I probably won't recognize them anyway. I look at the car. So if you're one of these people that's requiring attention on the car, you're not going to get it if you buy the fancy, $150,000 car, or $100,000 car or something. But one thing I can tell you that is if you are driving a $100,000 car, that's $100,000 you do not have in your bank account. Or if it is a loaned, if it's a loan you're paying, you are that much indebted to somebody for the car. That doesn't make you wealthy, right? So I want to tell you about a couple guys here. One has passed away, and the other is still alive, as far as I know. So, and it's not meant to be a shot against one or the other, but it's just a tale of two investors. And you might remember this gentleman, Ronald James Reed. I guess I'm going back about 11 years when he passed away. I can't believe the time has passed so fast, but I remember the story. So here's a guy who was actually born in rural Vermont. He was the first in his family to graduate from high school, and he lived a very low-key life. He was never going to make the news. He's never going to be the guy out there stirring it up. He fixed cars. He was a mechanic, fixed cars for 25 years. And after he finished with his fixing cars days, he moved on to be a janitor at J.C. Penney. J.C. Penney for another 17 years. Let me just do this here. I think I want to put a space in there. J.C. Penney. There we go. And that's what he did for another 17 years. Another 17 years. And there we go. Get my spacing right. Okay. I'm a real stickler for grammatical. I don't think I did that right. I think I took a space away. Okay, there we go. All right. So and it was in when he's only 38 years old. He bought a two-bedroom house, paid $12,000 for it. He actually lived there till his dying day. He lived in his house the whole day, his whole life. Small two-bedroom house. He was married at age 50. His wife died, and he never remarried. He stayed single after that. You ask him what his hobby is, he'll tell you chopping firewood. That's what he loved to do, chopped firewood. I guess he stayed healthy pretty well to the end, and but he made international headlines when he died in 2014 at the age of 92. I would say he lived a pretty full life if he, I'd be happy to get, I'd be happy to get with an earshot of that, never mind 92 myself. So here's what happened in 2014. Close to 3 million people died, Americans. 2,813,000, sorry, 2,813,503 Americans died that year. Less than 4,000 of them had a net worth of over $8 million. Guess what? Ronald Reed was one of them. This former janitor left $2 million to his stepchildren and over $6 million to his local hospital and library. That was in his will. He did not win any lotteries. He got no inheritance money. All he did, he just saved and he invested in blue chip stocks. Invested in blue chip stocks and he just let them accumulate, let the dividends, accumulate, reinvested. That's it. That's it. The most humble man you'll ever meet, Ronald Reed, from janitor to philanthropist. Philanthropist. Hard to read. Hard to say. So there you have it. Conversely, the story of Richard Fuscone. I hope I pronounced that right. I'll leave it at Fuscone, whatever. Um, now here's a gentleman, Harvard graduated, right? Educated, got an MBA. He's a Merrill Lynch executive. He retired in his 40s to become a philanthropist. He was actually an excellent, he was praised for his business savvy, leadership skills, sound judgment, and personal integrity. The guy was right up there. All right, but he liked to spend money. In the mid 2000s, he borrowed heavily to expand his 18,000 square foot home. It had 11 baths, two elevators, two pools, seven garages, and it cost him, with mortgage payment and everything else, over $90,000 a month to maintain this house. Over $90,000 a month to maintain this house. I don't know how many bedrooms it had. Um, and that's what he did. Then, of course, the 2008 financial crisis hit, turned his fortunes into dust. His high debt, illiquid assets, his comment to the bankruptcy court, I currently have no income. He left his job at Merrill Lynch and he ended up I guess his company went bankrupt. Everything sort of he just lost everything, as I'm assuming here. He had a home in Palm Beach. Well, that was the first to be foreclosed upon, and then his Greenwich mansions turn in 2014. That's where he lost it there. That was the big house, the big house. Um, Guests recall the thrill. This is all, by the way, out there in the news world. Like there's no secret here. You can Google this and read the whole story. It's actually pretty amazing. Guests there recalled the thrill of dining and dancing atop a see-through covering on the home's indoor swimming pool. Seriously? Sold for a fraction of what his insurance company's estimate of the worth was. This thing was worth, no, this is wrong. I don't think it's 3 million. I believe it's 34 million. Let me correct this. I believe it is 34 million. Sold his $34 million home for $8 million to pay off his debts. Can you imagine that? Um, who bought the house? I think it was, oh, it's a big retailer. I can't remember who it was. I don't know. Just I read the story, but it just slipped by me. But anyway, whoever bought his $34 million mansion for $8 million got a steal. Got a steal. As he told his bankruptcy court, the only source of liquidity is whatever my wife is able to sell in terms of personal furnishings. Folks, two completely, so okay, so it's actually really pretty amazing here. So you have these two people who are in this world, right? And the one's the meek and humble Reed, who just plodded along, took his money, and he did very well with it, right? Ronald Reed, and then we have the other guy here. So what's there to get out of this here? Some of the lessons learned here. So there's some lessons from both of these stories. Seeking authenticity of social validation. Take a moment to ponder why people often feel compelled to wear expensive clothes, accessories, or drive luxurious cars. It's not often by the desire for external recognition, validation, is it? Probably, right? Why else? I mean, I don't know, Toyota or a Honda CRV is a SUV, and it's my wife has that, and I got to be honest with you, it's every bit as good as the BMWs that we drive, which is pretty incredible. So, but why do you drive the BMW? Some people say because you can. Well, I'll tell you that Honda's got some features in it that I actually really like that my BMW doesn't have. Kind of makes me wonder sometimes. I got to step back and look at this here. Yet, the more you rely on these external factors to validate your self-worth, I mean, I always like BMW, so that's why I buy BMWs, okay? But the more you need that external factor to validate your self-worth, some people really get into this here, the less genuine your sense of self-esteem becomes. True happiness and fulfillment in life, all right, lie in discovering your core values and living in alignment with them. Embracing your authenticity and embracing what truly matters to you is the key to unlocking true happiness and contentment. Another lesson to learn here from both of these stories here, your lifestyle matters more than your profession. Living a life of consciousness, discipline, humility, they've got more significant impact on your overall well-being and financial success than the job you hold. Ronald Reed's inspiring journey from being a janitor to becoming a millionaire, multimillionaire as a matter of fact, challenges the stereotype that wealth is only attainable through high-paying jobs. His story serves as an inspiration for the middle class, proving that with prudent financial habits, anyone can achieve financial independence. Ronald Reed's success highlights the importance of living within your means, saving diligently, and investing for the long term. On the other hand, the cautionary tale of Richard Fuscone reminds us that present financial status does not guarantee future success. His lavish lifestyle and high financial status did not shield him from bankruptcy. This serves as a potent reminder that staying committed to responsible financial practices and maintaining discipline in life are crucial regardless of your current wealth. Lesson number 3, your saving habits set the blueprint for success. The stories of Ronald Reed and Richard Fuscone illustrate the crucial role of saving and prudent financial habits in achieving long-term success. Cultivating the saving habit, no matter how modest the amount, can lead to significant gains over time. And by setting aside a portion of your income and investing wisely, all right, you can create a solid foundation for financial security and potential wealth. I like that practical formula, like, was it 50, 30, 20, where your 50% is needs, 30% is your wants, and 20% is savings. Well, you set something up like this, that can guide your personal finances, for your personal finance management, ensuring a solid foundation for financial security and potential wealth. The more you save and invest, the stronger your financial position becomes. All right, the more you save and invest, the stronger your financial position becomes. I think this is something we should be teaching our kids from an early age. I know I've had this talk with my kids. I want you to put away, we're going to start you off with $5,000 each. You're in your late teens. Every month, I want you to find $100 to stick into this fund, and it's going to grow. Later in life, when you make some money, some more, more serious money, I want you to put more money into this thing. Even though I teach them how to day trade SPY options, which I do. I mean, I haven't taught those kids yet. My son and daughter, they're older. They know how to trade, and they do. But when they were teens, of course, you don't teach them at that point. You wait until they're a little more mature to understand that. But once they understand this and they understand these concepts, it's very liberating for me and any parent to know that they know how to go get money. If they need to make money, they want some more money for something, go and earn it. You know how to do it, right? That's number three. The more you save and invest, the stronger your financial position becomes. Right? It's kind of like a foundation. The stronger your foundation of a house, the more your house is going to hold up to the elements, right? Number four, the pitfall of lavish spending lays ground for failure. Excessive spending, even for those with substantial incomes like the executive Richard Fusco, can lead to a life of financial instability and stress. Can you imagine the stress this gentleman went through, losing this massive house and all that went with it? Oh my gosh. Often the pursuit of immediate gratification through extravagant purchases can overshadow the need for responsible financial planning. Without a prudent approach to money and management, you may be trapped in a cycle of debt and struggle, particularly during unexpected circumstances. And number five, this long term for compound effect, think long term, I should say, not this think long term. Okay, let's go back and correct this. Think long term. I thought that looked a little funny. Think long term for compounding, right? What do they say? There's two kinds of people. Those that understand compounding, they do very well, and those that don't, they're destined to pay it. What contributed to the success of Ronald Reed? Well, there's no any special thing rather than his discipline and patience in the long term for his investments. John C. Bogle says the secret to wealth is simple: save early and often, and let compounding do the heavy lifting. Well, Ronald Reed did not possess sophisticated financial knowledge. He did embrace the power of compounding. His approach to investing might have aligned with Warren Buffett's philosophy of holding great companies for the long term, as Buffett himself started investing at a young age and understood the power of compounding. Ronald Reed applied this principle with exceptional discipline and patience, recognizing the potential it held for significant financial growth over time. Now, look, you can't be a Ronald Reed, and you shouldn't probably be a Richard Brand. What's his name? Richard. I had his name here. Fusco. These are two opposite ends of a stick. You still have to live, right? I think the key here is to finding that balanced approach. You need to still live, and you need to find that balance. Achieving financial success lies in striking that balance between saving for the future and enjoying the present. It's essential to set realistic financial goals, build an emergency fund, and invest wisely for the long term, simultaneously treating yourself occasionally to experiences and possessions that bring joy can enhance overall well-being. The key to be conscious of your spending decisions and prioritize financial responsibilities. Ronald Reed and Richard Fusco may not have had any connections, and their stories may appear paradoxical, but when juxtaposed, they create a compelling illustration of personal financial literacy. They demonstrate how appearances can be deceiving when it comes to financial success. The key takeaway here is that the habit of saving and making informed financial choices are crucial factors in determining your financial well-being. By understanding the consequences of both lavish spending and prudent saving can make you informed decisions that lead to a more secure and prosperous future. Remember, what you see on the surface is not always an accurate representation of financial wisdom and success. So find that balance of long term. So this is what you do with your money, but you have to make money, right, to be able to do this. And one of the things I tell people, make more money, keep more money, learn to day trade SPY options. Day trade options on SPY. This is how you can turn a little bit of money into a lot of money. One of the things that we're doing here is we are turning 5,000 to 50,000 in 1 year. I'm working with a gentleman on that, and I don't have the updated numbers on that because I was away and I don't have a lot of the numbers that I had last week. I have to update all of that, which I plan to do in the next day or two. Probably not tonight. I'm very tired tonight, so probably going to be hitting the sack early to get caught up on some much needed sleep. Folks, learn to day trade options. Now, look, it's not that hard to do, okay? You can have some very modest goals here, very humble goals. If you can find $5,000 seed money, you can easily, you can easily, if you understand what we're doing, right, and you understand what we're doing, you can turn, all right, you can turn $200 a day as profit as a day trader. Imagine yourself in control of your financial future, financial security. Recession? Who cares if we have recession? We make money both going up and down, and we only trade in the morning, do other things in the afternoon. You're not beholden to a boss or anybody else. You have no customers. You don't have to punch a clock, no obligations to anybody else. You can have all the material things that you want, and also able to help other people, like your kids and family and philanthropy if you want. As a fellow Eagle guru, my associate John Johnson, he says, being able to do what you want when you want. That's his definition of success. All right. So remember the saying, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And that is so true. It's up to each and every one of you to engage. Get with the program. Get with the program. So again, just really quickly tell you these. I don't want to, stress this. You've seen this many times, but I do want to tell you, if you're not a member of the inner circle, it's a good place to be. This is where you get our morning market analysis sent to you at 9 o'clock in the morning. John prepares this. He's actually quite comprehensive with it. Sometimes I think a little bit too much. We have this discussion, John. I try to be brief. People want to know, is it going up or down? Okay, but he kind of lays it all out there and finds the balance. Anyway, it gives you a flash assessment as to where SPY is expected to go that day, and so it's like a flash forecast into the day, and it'll tell you it's looking like it's going to go up today. So if you want to get in the morning, get in, make your money, get in, get out, enjoy the rest of the day. You'll also receive a follow-up report later in the day as to what we actually did and what happened with the market. Wednesday night meetups, you're going to be invited to these where you can ask all the questions you want. John actually runs the Wednesday night sessions, and so he'll get into anything, whether it's chart setups or chart patterns or trends, anything at all, what the Greeks mean. He looks at the market. He looks at all of that. All right. We use Schwab Thinkorswim in our demonstrations because they got superior charts and indicators. And I also like to trade Tasty Trade because of their superior commission structure. You'll also get first notice of coming up events in the inner circle. And for the best price, you can either go to our website, but if you want the best price, go to customer service at DayTradeSPY for pricing. This applies to everything, okay? Inner circle. It doesn't cost much at all. Like I would say a cup of coffee and maybe a donut or something every morning. Next up is our Day Trade Spy signal. This is a particular option sent to your cell phone as a text message 3 to 5 times a week. Algo rate based, all right, there's an algorithm that this works with. These are going to be in the morning. There won't be any afternoon trades, so if you don't get it by the morning, you're not going to get it that day. Immediate buy, and you put up for sale for 5% profit target. If not sold by the end of the day, sell it at market close. It's been working exceptionally well. Except, again, contact customer service at DayTradeSPY for pricing on the DayTradeSPY signal. All right, along the same lines as the signal, we also have the pick of the day. Similar but not the same. Okay, the pick of the day is a particular option emailed to you at 9 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week. And this is designed to be purchased right at market open. Now, it's not algo based, it's not algorithm based. John and I actually sit down and pre-market and we pick this ourselves. So we'll go through and determine is the market going to go up or down, then we find the most appropriate option that we like to trade, then we send that to you. So the idea here is to buy it right at market open, put it up for sale for 6% gain, walk away and come back. The money should be there in your account. It may be held overnight if you want, although we do tell people, look at, if you're so inclined, you don't want to hold it overnight, sell it at the end of the day. All right, sell it, just sell it at the end of the day. But by far, almost every single time, it's actually hits its profit fairly early on in the day. So, again, contact customer service at DayTradeSPY for pricing. Okay. Next up, of course, our famous, world famous trading room, hosted by yours truly, along with John, every morning. This is where strategies come alive. We do not hold you ransom. This is not something where we're going to tie you down from 9 till 4 every day and you can't go anywhere. You have to be here because we're going to make trades and we're going to tell you and there could be lots of dead air and a bunch of people coming online. No, 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 no. We've been in trading rooms in the past. We take all the good, we leave the bad. We've narrowed this down. We're on there for about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 15 minutes. I think hour and 10 minutes. 9:20 to 10:30, hour and 10 minutes. All right, we get in there and first we discuss the news that's going to shape the market that day. And then we get in as soon as the opening bell comes. We look to make our trades, and we've been coming in around I don't know 4 or 5, 6 trades a day a session between John and myself, right? This is an exciting session. This is where you learn and earn. These are interactive. You can put your questions in the questions box. We tend to answer them as soon as we get them. We teach what we trade and we trade what we teach. You're going to get, again, your questions answered live trading. We've been doing this since 2010, now in our 16th year, folks. Again, contact customer service for pricing. Although I will tell you that the price for the trading room, $6.99 for 3 months, a quarterly. You can get other package deals as well. I believe there's a yearly package. There might be a 6 month package. I'm not really sure. But this, you can't beat this. $6.99 for 3 months, basically the price of a half a Subway sandwich a day. And you're going to have the benefit of two pro traders right there helping you along, mentoring you. All right. All right. For those reasons I just mentioned, join our programs, learn the day trade spy. Now let's look for questions up on the board. There are a few, and I'm going to go right back to the beginning here real quick. Okay, all right. Stop losses. Use stop losses, trailing stops. Generally, Brian, I do not use stop losses. I found that with a stop loss, I used to get back in the early days when I did this with SPY options, I found that I got taken out um, much too often. And the irony is, had I held on for, sometimes even 10, 15, 20 minutes, I'd have been in for profit. I would have had my profit. I found they generally do not work well with with SPY options. Although that said, we do tell people that if you are so inclined, say take a 40% stop loss, to avoid holding overnight, or or if you don't want to risk the trade, or you don't want to worry about how to repair the trade. In our trading room, whenever the situation arises, we also demonstrate how to repair trades gone bad, right? But I know we should, if people are following us, we should have some sort of an exit. So we'll say, okay, put a loss on, stop loss of 40%, or sell it at the end of the day for the market value. Okay. And we've had situations where we did that and it would hit, say, 30, 40, 50, 60% stop loss. But by the end of the day, it comes back and delivers, maybe a lesser loss, maybe a 10% loss or something. So now that said, a lot of my trades, I will use personal trades. I'll use a trailing stop. So if I'm really watching it all day, mind you, I don't watch the market all day. I know some people think that I do, but I don't. I like to just get in and make my money in the morning, get in, get out, enjoy the rest of the day. But if I am sitting in front of my computer all day and I see that the market's going up or down in a long-term sort of trend, I will invoke a trailing stop. And those I find were pretty good too if you set them right. I generally use a 10-cent stop on a trailing stop. So I hope that makes some sense. And yes, we buy first and then we sell, buy and sell calls and puts. We do not do any spreads, no spreads at all. I used to do spreads a long time ago, and it's funny because I used to laugh. People would say, "Oh, roll it over, or, extend it out another month, or this," and people would get excited over making 5% over a course of a month or something. I say, "Wait a second, really?" I'd say, we don't get we don't get out of bed for 5% a month. Um, I like to make 5% a day. Okay, that's what I like to do. And I don't want to be watching these spreads, monitoring spreads and worried about them. I'd rather not be in a trade all overnight if I don't have to be. So, all right, looking for a fade in mid-morning after a spike up. I'm not sure I understand the question on that one here. Daniel G, looking for a fade in the mid-morning and spike up. I I don't know if there's any real mid-morning. There used to be, I remember a long, long time ago, I used to follow mid-mornings because around 10:30, traders would go down for coffee and there'd be and the volumes would lighten up. But I'm not seeing that so much anymore. I think with the with more and more computerized trading, I don't think that mid-morning fade is there anymore. I'm not really sure. Next question here. Is the master class the same as the ultimate trading course? Um, the answer there is yes and no. There are elements of both, and of the ultimate training course. There's going to be some changes. So even if you took the ultimate training course in the past, you'll probably want to get in on the master class. All right, you'll want to get in on that. Okay. It's going to be very exciting. We're going to be talking about a lot of new things, new material as well. Uh, excuse me, John will also be part of that, so I think it's gonna be pretty exciting. And Brian B, thank you for that story about Lucy, my dog. Yes, 100% understand the loss. Thank you so much for that. Crazy how you can get emotional over a dog, really. Intellectually, you're making it really. But okay, so yes, we like to use Thinkorswim and Tasty. I use Tasty as well. So my big trades, I'll put out Tasty because the commissions are $1 a contract to open a position, zero to close for a maximum of $10 a trade. Can't beat that. Can't beat that at all. So, okay, Reggie's telling me here, SPY's up already over 6 points in futures trading. I think it's probably going to go up tomorrow based on what I'm seeing here tonight. I didn't look at it in detail, but okay. Okay, thank you so much for that, Michael DR, right? I've been trading options for quite some time, but your service has been the best. Okay, this is actually really good. That's good to hear. Thank you so much for that, Michael. That's actually pretty exciting to hear this kind of stuff, these kinds of comments. Let me just grab this here. Let me see what other stuff, some of these other comments I have here. All right. How does the trading room work? Okay. I understand participants join a Zoom call. They get in, meet, and ask questions, similar to tonight, yes. It's essentially you and your partner providing a trade and explaining why. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so the trading room, let me explain this. You are going to receive the links, and every Sunday afternoon around 4 o'clock, we send out the links for the coming week. And it doesn't matter when you join. You don't have to join the weekend. You can join Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. It doesn't matter when you join. You join, you're going to get the week with the links for the week. So we open the trading room at about 9 o'clock Eastern time. Everything is Eastern time. We open the trading room and you'll hear music, just like tonight. You'll hear some background music. And if you don't hear the music, check your audio, check your speakers and your software, hardware, whatever. And then around 9:20, you'll hear that song loud and clear. That's your cue that we're coming up. Okay. Um, it's kind of our song. So you'll get that. And then at 9:20 we start. We say our good mornings and our salutations, and John and I will convince for a few seconds while people join, still join us to come online, and we'll talk about whatever. Um, and uh, John loves to go on these 100-mile bicycle trips. This guy's incredibly into the bicycling, but so we talk a little bit, and then we get into the news and the things that are going to move the markets today, what happened overnight, what's coming up during the day, and then we'll get an idea as to which way the market's probably going to go from a fundamental analysis. Okay, we'll see what's on tap. Are there any major earnings coming out that are going to possibly move the markets? What's going to happen here? And then we'll get into the technical analysis. We look at the charts, we look for support, resistance, chart patterns, trend lines, different things like that. Then we marry the two. Okay, we marry the two. So, okay, well, according to our experience and model, I think there's going to be a pullback first to this support, and then it's going to go up, or whatever the situation is going to be that morning. And then we look at various options that we're going to be interested in trading. So we explain, we narrate our trades. We'll look at our strategies. We'll talk about our OMG strategy, which is short for out of the morning gate. Basically, we look for support and resistance from about 9:30 back, half hour to an hour. And the first 5-minute candle to close outside of those support and resistance numbers, that is the direction that we're going to go. Now, if the stock is going in our direction, we buy right then and there. If it's going against us, we wait for the turnaround, then get back into it, get it for a better price. And then we look to make, say, 6% on the OMG trade, and that usually comes up pretty quickly as well. So that's just one little strategy that we do. But we use that but we do narrate our trades, and we get in and make our money and get out and look for the next trade, look for the next trade, and have a lot of fun doing it. And of course, we answer questions. You put your questions into the questions box just like here. So that's kind of why what we do there. So, all right, happy anniversary. Thank you. Happy anniversary. Yeah. Is it my anniversary today or something? I don't think so. Oh, by the way, happy Mother's Day for any ladies out there who are mothers. Um, Mark says your most recent newsletter was great. Thank you. Okay, you're welcome. Yes. Okay. All right. Howard is in the 567 calls from Friday. Okay. I think you're gonna do okay with those, according to my current opinion. Uh, Question from Mark P. Did you experience any issues with Thinkorswim on Friday? Mark, I was not in the trading room on Friday. I actually did not even open up my trading account on Friday. I was busy so we had a kid at University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and so we're busy with her on that for most of the weekend stuff. So, oh my gosh, one party after another after another. It's just like, oh, crazy. Way too much partying. So, um, yeah, kids graduate, then what are they going to do? All right, I'll tell you something, Grace. You're going to learn to trade. Okay. Now you're going to get the real education. That's what we're going to tell her. Now you're going to get the real education. You're going to learn how to make money. Oh, man. Sorry, my bad hair day. Flying all day. Okay. 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 Da, 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 da. Okay. I'm not really sure what the situation there was. I guess Thinkorswim was down or something on Friday for maintenance or something. I'm not really sure now. So, okay, let's get back down some more questions. Okay. Well, everybody answered that poll on the war in Ukraine, right? Which is really pretty good here. Okay, a lot of news on Monday's trade deals. Yeah, so I think Trump's tariffs negotiations are going to be front and center early on in the week. I'm not really sure. Um, okay, thanks for that, Brian. This is a great lesson here. Thank you. 100% true. Uh, I like this from Rod. He says, I have a strong net worth, yet never owned a new car, nor do I have any desire for one. Um, okay. Yeah, and let somebody else pay the depreciation for the first year or two, right? And thank you for that. Okay. So what I want you to do now is punch up in the questions box a number from 1 to 100. And okay, so Scott, as far as some technical details on what John uses, we should address that in the trading room tomorrow. I know you're going to be on there tomorrow. And okay, that 10 o'clock reversal, Jonathan, doesn't always come. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it comes at 9:45. OMG, Michael DR says, what do you refer to? Oh, it's actually ON, oh, sorry, OMG. All right, as an Oscar, Mother, George, I don't know. Out of the morning gate. That's what OMG stands for. That is a little strategy that we use. So, okay. Can you compare the futures versus SPY? They could be similar trades. I do not trade futures, and I don't trade SPX. I only trade one stock, SPY. Okay, the stock that follows the top 500 stocks. So I find that um, if you just learn one thing really, really well, one stock really well, now you might not even be interested in this. Maybe you want to, maybe you'll find another stock. Maybe you're going to follow Tesla or something. I don't care. But if you follow one thing, learn one thing really, really, really well. Okay, learn one thing really, really well. Um, you're going to get good at it. Yeah, eventually you have to get good at it, right? I mean, you'll get good at anything. And if you do it enough. So if you try and learn everything about everything, you're going to be the master. What's that saying? Jack of all trades, master of none, right? So our strategy is that we focus and laser beam focus and get very good at just day trading SPY. And then, you're going to get good at that. And then everything else doesn't really matter, right? Everything else doesn't really matter. Okay. Okay, Scott, congratulations. Okay, yeah, his daughter got her master's from UNC Saturday also from Chapel Hill. Nice. Okay, Howard says, I feel your pain about Lucy. I lost $2 and my wife will not let me get any more. I get it. Okay, so now we get the random signal generator. Where is that little program that I had written? I actually have fun with this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is this is not the number. I'm going to hit the button and then the number comes up, 43. The number is 43, 43. So let me just write this down. Who came in closest to 43? You had the chance to write these numbers down. Okay, yes, so we stopped this. The time here is 9:12, 9:12, 9:11, right? 9:11. Okay, 43. Ed S came at 30. I don't think he's got it. 99. Okay, I'm just going through all the numbers here. Okay, it looks to me like, wow, look at all these numbers. 913. Douglas W. Oh, sorry. Too late. Too late. Nice try. He, he gave me the number after I got the random number here. So, right. So I think the congratulations are going to go to Brian B. He got the number of 47. He came in the closest, and the number was 43. I got to get his details here. Brian B. Okay. I will send you that ebook, Triumphs and Tragedies, and that is going to be delivered to your inbox later tonight. Okay, so I hope you're going to enjoy that. And now I'm going to pull off of this and get out of this here. Okay, where are we here? I'm using another computer. Okay. All right, there's the contest. With that, folks, thank you all for joining us. Let me just see if there's any stragglers questions here. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I got your address there. Perfect. Makes me saves me some trouble having to go find it. All right, about Fridays. I don't know anything about Fridays trade. John hosted that. I'm sure he'll follow up on Fridays trades. Again, I was not anywhere near the trading room on Fridays, so. All right, gang, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Hopefully, listen, if you're not part of our programs, you got to be in on it. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
The moon and the sun. Be great at what you do. Give it all of you. And trust the process to keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you what